we're going to get started. I apologize about the audio, guys. This is my first time doing this, so technical glitches, but let's get started. So first of all, I am going back to this page here, the dental inventory makeover. So I'm very excited to have you all, guys, to take the 20-30 minutes of your time during the day to invest into something that we're very, very passionate about at Zen Supply. So dental inventory makeover. Let's dive in. So first of all, why is this important? And what are the three main reasons it's time for the inventory makeover? So if your offices or any of your offices, number one, running out of supplies, number two, have expired products or have tremendous amount of expired products, or number three, the dental supply budget is over 5% off of the collections. So if any of these three ring the bell, this webinar is going to be for you, and hopefully it's going to help you at the end. So I'm going to go through actionable steps. At the end, there will be an action plan, and then I'll provide all the resources. So if I go through checklists or if I mention some of the tip-up bins and things like that, there will be a page with the resources at the end. Now, at the end of this webinar, when we're done recording, I will post this on our Zen Supplies blog, so you guys will be able to come back to this, and all the resources will be listed there. And I will also send an email with all of the resources as well. So let's get started. All right, did any of this ring the bell? Hopefully you guys can go in chat and say yes, if anything like this happened to you guys before. So this picture here with the purple bin or the tray is all of the expired products from one of the offices that we're onboarding right now with Zen that is worth of staggering $1,600 worth of expired products. It is unbelievable to me. So when we look at the dental practice with Zen Supplies, or just in general, when you guys organize your inventory, there are a couple things that are very, very critical. Number one, not to run out of products. I think that's the most important part. Number two is not to have expired products, because you can see what's going on here. And number three is the budget. And I also wanted to plug this picture here, if just to show you how typical sterilization look like when I go and visit dental practices. And that's something that we're also going to try to avoid. All right, so let's get started. So I always start the inventory makeover process with the physical space, right? So we cannot go into save money when dental supplies buying from another company. We cannot just simply find the patches. You have to start with the physical space. And what are the principles? So number one, have a single place for all of the supplies. So what I mean by that is, yes, you're going to have the constraints within an office, but try to bundle everything together. So for example, hygiene stuff can go into the closet, but your main dental supplies will go into the main stock room. Then stock what you need for 2 to 3 weeks at the most. Avoid having way too much stock. And then space has to be open to see and be efficient. All right, let's jump in. This is one of the practices that we're working on. You can see that we're going to start with the physical space, and I love the concept of having the main stock. What I mean by that is having a closet or something that looks like a closet we can call the main stock, where the boxes arrive from the suppliers and distributors. You can open up your boxes and restock your main stock. So basically your main stuff that's going to go in. So this is one of the closets that one of our offices had, and you can see what it looked like before, right? A total non-organization. My OCD is going crazy right now. But this is after. So you can see how they put the tip-up bins. Now everything is organized. But the one part that's missing on this picture here is the shelves. So that's why I plugged in the third picture, is to show you guys the shelves. So like for the bigger items, the cavi wipes, the masks, the tray cover paper, and things like that that cannot be put in the tip-up bins, you would like to have the shelves. And so this picture is unfinished. This office did go back and put the shelves right here so that they can have more supplies right in this area. I'm going to try to use the annotation. So let me see how it works. Okay, so it doesn't. All right, that's fine. So we're going to close this up. So you can see the idea between the main stock. So let's talk about the daily stock for a second. Now, some of the offices will have the daily stock in the treatment rooms, and some of the offices will have the daily stock in sterilization. So I want to start with sterilization. Now, if you're planning to keep all of your supplies in a sterile and then put everything on the trays and then bring it into the treatment room, I have an idea for you guys. So what you can do is in the daily stock for the sterile, first of all, we need to make sure there's space, right? I'm a big proponent of removing the door cabinets. You guys will see it later on one of the slides that I absolutely remove them right away as soon as I go into the office. And the reason I do that is we need space for the trays that are usually hanging at the countertop so they can go up and we need space for other things here. And then if we do have the space between the lower and the upper cabinet, I like to put in the tip-up bins specifically for the daily stock, the things that you're going to be using during the day, so that you don't have to run back and forth to work on supplies and bring them in. So the idea is everything you need is going to be centralized right here, right when you're putting the tray together, so that you can put it on the trays and you guys are good to go. All right, so the next step. I do want to show you this. So you can see how we go into the offices, and this is one of the offices, and that's exactly what we did here, is you look at the cabinets, the upper cabinet, and first of all, when I asked the doctor to open the doors, what do we see? A total mess, right? So all these things are going to be packed and piled up, and usually we have the doors to hide the mess behind the doors, right? So that's the reason we want to open up. I like to remove the things from the upper cabinet so everything is gone from there. The doors are gone, and now we can move the trays up. So I'll show you the picture how this office looked like after we've done some work here. But the idea is we need to clean up the countertops so that you guys have the space. Now, this is how this office looked like after we've done some work. So you can see the doors are gone, the trays are right above, and now we have the space to work to put those tip-up bins, right? Specifically for the daily stock. And again, your office might be different. I'm just giving you the ideas. And if you guys are interested to send me the pictures, you guys can do that. So you have my email, which is team@zensupplies.com. Please send me an email and we can work specifically with your space, okay? So that's how it looks like. And then once we put the tip-up bins, that's usually used, as you can see, for the burrs, the endophiles, if you guys do it, for anesthetics. Maybe you have a section for the hygiene items, but it's all organized right here, okay? So that's the daily stock. And that's the daily stock if it's in sterilization. Now let's talk about the daily stock if it's going to be in the operatories. So I have a picture of the treatment room here. So that's the daily stock in the room, but I can tell that this is one of our pediatric offices, so there's not that many items that go into the pediatric office. So this is going to be a little bit less supplies. But this is one of the offices that do run their daily stock inside the treatment rooms. You guys can see this cart. They bought it at Sam's Club. I think it's $496. I will try to reference that as well. But entire thing that they use during the week is in this mobile cart, right? And then this is another picture of the daily stock inside the treatment room so that you can see that there is some anesthetics here and hub needles and things like that. Now, the key is if you're going to have the supplies in your operatories, here's the key. We need to make sure that you have the checklist that for every item that goes in it, you need to have a checklist with quantities. So, for example, when your team members are restocking the carpules of lidocaine, the green or red, or acetylcaine or things like that, they need to know how many they need to put in the room. Either it's going to be 5 or 10 or 7, whatever the number is, that's going to have to go on the checklist. The checklist would be right here on top of it, and then you guys can run it, okay? So I think I'm going to come back to the checklist in a second, but hopefully so far it makes sense, okay? If any questions, put it in the comments. Now, physical space, daily stock in the ops. So what's important to know? First of all, you need to know how busy the practice is. Practices that are more busy tend to keep supplies in the rooms because I've learned from some of the doctors it's not the best thing when your assistant needs to get up and get stuff, right? So then in that case, keep it in the rooms, but have the checklist with quantities. Stock operatories or your sterilization with a 1 day or 1 week worth of supplies. Organize it to the point where you know that you're going to survive a whole day without running into your main stock room, okay? Now, understand the restrictions of your practices. So understand if you don't have the space to do it all, then maybe you can have couple storages. Some people have basements. You see, some people will have basements to put supplies. And another part is you're going to have the mobile carts. So, for example, some of the offices will have endocart, implants, ortho. Try to keep everything in that mobile cart so it's not, again, sitting in multiple places or treatment room. So have it in a mobile cart that you can easily restock it. Now, we're going to come back to the tip-up bins in a second. Now, the physical space is done, and we're going to move into the inventory control. With inventory control, what I've seen so far by visiting our offices, you have 3 methods of organizing the inventory and keeping control of the inventory. Number 1 is tags with rubber bands. Raise your hand, guys. Put in a comment if you've seen these rubber bands. I'm not a big fan of them, but I'm sure you've seen them, right? Some offices would use spreadsheets where you can manually manage products and orders. And then the third method to control the inventory that I've seen is nothing. And that's the most popular method. So people literally do nothing to control the supplies. I don't think we can talk about why is it not good. So that's going to be another webinar. So I'm going to dive right into the tip-up bins here for a second. So the inventory control, the best it's done when you have these tip-up bins. So hopefully you guys can see this video. Okay, so you can see how everything is clearly laid out and organized. We're also working on the labels so that you guys can have the labels. We also provide the template, what needs to go in each tip-up bin. And so that's the one really good way of organizing the inventory with tip-up bins. I also mentioned the checklist, right? So the checklists are absolutely critical. And the checklist for the treatment room would look something like this. So I just got it from one of the offices that we're onboarding, and they put in here. So if they're restocking the rooms once a day, they said masks should be $1, gloves should be $1 for each site, cotton rolls, and on and on and on and on. So I will reference this at the end, so you guys will have a link specifically to this checklist, so you can tailor it to yourself, print it, laminate it, and have your team members put the weekly check when it's completed. So this is a big shout out goes to the dentist of Omaha and our office at Zen that provided this checklist. Okay, so moving on, ordering. So we've talked about the physical space, right? How to make sure that you have the main stock, how you have the daily stock. We talked about the inventory controls, the checklist. So now let's talk about the ordering. The important elements are establishing the PO process, what softwares you guys can use, and how to choose the right software. So what I talk a lot about, and it's something that I've learned from one of the offices in San Diego, so it's Dental Design SD, big shout out to Michael Lamatan, is to have the purchase order system. So what it means is literally having a spreadsheet that's called purchase order, and then for your team members, or if you are the team member, to put all the items you need to purchase on the spreadsheet. It's as simple as that. I know you're going to say it's going to take a lot of time. There are softwares available to streamline it, but you need to have something like a purchase order. So everything goes in, and then that order goes for the approval by the doctor. So usually the doctor would sit like this in this room. This is one of our doctors at Acrewood. They would literally approve every single order. So if you send it on a spreadsheet for approval, or have a Dropbox, or have a Google Drive, just organize it, guys. It's going to take 5 to 7 minutes to organize your entire process, and then make sure you have all the spreadsheets. And it's simple: one for purchase order, and one we can keep track of all of the orders that you're submitting to distributors, right? So the approval process. So if the doctors are listening to this, please approve every single order. Not so much that you don't trust your assistants. I truly believe that we need to trust assistants, and assistants are absolutely amazing. You need to know what you're buying. That's my main concern. A lot of times you don't know, and that's why you go over the budget. Once you do know, you know the quantities, you can help your assistants and say, let's not buy 3 boxes of lidocaine. I think we can survive with 2. So that's the important part of approving, of having the approval process. And then again, having the process so easy that it only takes you 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, so what to use? What are the softwares on the market that we've seen? Obviously, Zen Supplies. I have to give a plug to our own company. I think it's one of the best. And then there's also other companies like Sowingo, Dentira, Curemin, Clixon. I'm also learning more about the Airtable. So Airtable is not a dental-related company, but they are, people call them spreadsheet on fire, on steroids. So you can somehow tweak it to use it for your own purposes, to use it for supplies and things like that. I've heard that you can also implement the barcode scanners and things like that. So that's a cheaper solution compared to Zen Supplies and Sowingos and others, but you guys can totally check it out. Now, full disclosure, we don't have any idea what these companies are doing. We don't make any money on mentioning them. We just want to bring the value and mention these companies to you guys, okay? All right, so ordering, pretty straightforward. Purchase order, make sure you guys have the items on the purchase order. You have the approval process, and then send that purchase order to your distributors, to your rep. Never, ever text your rep or have your rep to come in and do the order for you. I don't think it's a good idea. There's a big conflict of interest. And from what I've seen, there are very, very few reps that are really tremendously good. Most of the orders, most of the reps are going to take the order. Nothing wrong, but like I said, there's a conflict of interest in my opinion. Okay, so ordering, what to use, we talked about it. Now, how to control your budget, that's going to be the next step. So first of all, establish the PO process. Orders have to be approved to review the budget before submitting to distributors and suppliers. Then how to set the budget, and we're going to talk about the free goods, okay? So I know that we're short on time, guys, but I'm going to try to finish everything before you guys need to run out. So how to control the budget. These are the simple budget calculations. I know most of you guys will know, but I still get across some offices that don't know how to set the budget. It's very simple. Collections for the previous month, or you can take the net productions for the previous month. I never go by production. It's a long conversation we can have on it, so just take my word. It's either collections or the net productions for the previous month, but you can take the average over the last 3 months. Then multiply by 5% or below, and you got your budget. Now, I have an article about budget categories, so this is very important. If your office does ortho, implants, CAD/CAM, you name it, what are the things that we can put in here? That should be as lab specialty. That should go as your lab supplies, not a dental supply budget, right? So you want to keep these two separate. So if your office is hard, like really tough on putting implants and stuff like that, make it as a lab specialty. And also talking about implants, try not to stock up on too many sizes. I know that you guys need to have it for emergencies, but figure out the sizes that are the most common for emergencies and just keep that. Don't buy $50,000 worth of implants. All right, and your lab budget should be 6%. I really don't know how much more time to spend on here because it's really that simple, guys, okay? So that's how to control the budget. Now, let's talk about how to negotiate and where to order. So first, let's cover where to order. So what are the sites that I'm recommending for you guys to place your orders and reach out? So definitely Dental City, one of our favorites. Pure Life, Safco, Dermatech Direct, Scott's Dental Supplies, TM Global, GPS, DDS Dental Supplies, Anson Dental. These are really, really good alternatives. So they don't sell gray market, at least through Zen Supplies, because we have them sign the documents. So when you do reach out, make sure that you guys only buy authorized products from them. But these are really good companies to use as the reference or as alternative resources, really good pricing. And also reach out to some of the specialty companies, right? Edge Endo and a couple others that will do a really good job if you want to find the alternative. But trust me, if you have a really good inventory management system, saving money on specific item is not that big of a deal. I understand you can save a lot, but you can save a lot more by having a robust inventory management system, okay? All right, so and also consider joining the buying groups. There are buying groups out there. Synergy Dental, you guys can reach out. They're free. You have access to Darby Dental pricing, and I would also reach out to Elite Dental Partners. So they are, I believe, preferred with Banco. So these are some of the options. Again, we're not taking any commission or financial contribution from any of these companies. We're just trying to provide the value to you guys. Okay, next, how to negotiate. There are a bunch of methods out there how to negotiate with distributors, but this is the one that I found that works for Zen for our clients. Number one, know your numbers. Prepare a spreadsheet. Have all your numbers laid out. How much you're paying for lidocaine, how much you're paying for a saliva ejector, how much you're paying for cotton rolls. Have it all ready. Then select the vendors, either from a list that we provided or combine your own list and send the spreadsheet to these companies saying the ballpark where you need to be. Because you can go on Amazon, eBay, and a couple others, see how much the product can cost. I wouldn't suggest buying from them, but at least have it as a reference, right? So you have that as a reference, you put it on a spreadsheet. Now send it to your distributors. Let them come back 2 or 3 times to you. You're going to ask them and say, hey, please work on your numbers. I think you can sharpen up your pencil. Send it 2 to 3 times. Let them come back to you, right? So after that, when you go negotiating, ask for the unit prices. Avoid having the free goods. So if the vendor comes back to you and say, look, I'm going to give you this price, but at the end of the year, you guys are going to have access to all these free goods, not good. Just go for the unit price. Try to negotiate $27, $26 on the box of lidocaine. That's the going price as of April 2019. So that's what I would suggest, right? You can also use Zen Supplies for that, but that's a different story. Make sure to have in writing how long the prices are going to be locked for. So after you're done negotiating, going back and forth, right? Some of you are not comfortable asking for a better price. Do it over the email. Send an email and say, hey guys, just wanted to ask you if you can do any better on the pricing, right? Just put it lightly like that on the email to your supply rep from one of the top companies or any company that you use and see what happens. Send it one more time and say, hey, I have another company, but I would really like to work with you. Can you sharpen up your numbers? Send it back. So work with them. Now, once you get the numbers back, it is absolutely critical that you guys get the in writing for how long these prices are going to be locked for. I've seen way too many times the prices go up in 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. Make sure that you are locked in. So, and then if the prices do go up, check your invoices and then send it back to your supply reps or the company and say, hey, I think we agreed on this price on the invoice. I see this price. I'm sure it's a mistake. Can you guys please correct it? So it's very important that you guys double check invoices 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, and 9 months down the road. Okay? All right, so hopefully this is helpful. Let's keep going. That actually brings us back to the action steps, right? So we're going to check the action steps. So what we've covered so far is, number one, organize your physical space. Dedicate the main stock room, have a daily stock, purchase tip-up bins, right? So it's very critical. Create the checklist for restocking operatories and sterilization. So if your daily stock is going to be in sterile or the ups, have the template that we're going to have in references. Now, try to restock your rooms or your daily stock only once a day or once a week. Establish purchase order process. So for your assistants, or if you're an assistant, grab the template that we have here, fill it out, send it to the doctor to approve, put the quantities. After it's signed off and approved, send it to the distributor. Set the budget. And by the way, have the budget in the PO. Just check how much you have left. Set the budget at 5% or below, just like we did. Now, order supplies every 2 weeks. I think it's very important. And the reason it's important is with a lot of vendors, you guys will qualify for free shipping. We talk about this a lot. A lot of vendors will have a minimum. If you order $99 from one specific vendor, you will qualify for free shipping. So make sure that that happens. A lot of big companies will have $199 or $150 per order to qualify for free shipping. Please make sure to do every 2 weeks. That will save you money on shippings. Now, use provided above supplies for better pricing. I know that some of the items, some doctors will say, look, I have to buy this item from company X, Y, and Z, the top 3. That's totally fine. Keep buying from them. But there are items like saliva ejectors, cotton rolls, and things like that. Give it a try. Or also, if you like the brand, not necessarily the vendor, try to buy that same brand from another company, right? So try to save money that way. And double check the invoices when packages arrive. That's critical. That is absolutely critical. It's astonishing how many offices just don't do that. You open the box from the vendor, you check the invoice, make sure the prices are accurate, make sure the price is what the vendor gave you. Use Google Drive for the simplicity. Get an iPad in the office to make sure that you can access these prices quickly. So with that being said, we're wrapping up. References. So the tip-up bins, I will give you guys the references. The inventory makeover process, I'll give you a link on what we do and how we do this process. The room template, the book, basically, by the way, you can book the consultation with us, and the free goods. So recently we wrote an article about the free goods. Are they really free? So that is going to be very important that you guys read it. It's our point of view at Zen Supplies. It's really up to you guys what you think. But we bring you 3 good reasons why the 3 goods are really killing your budget. So with that being said, we are wrapping up. I would highly suggest to go into zensupplies.com and schedule the call with us. So zensupplies.com/sales to learn more. But let me show you, if you guys still here, I'm really passionate about this process. So I'm going to go on this link and show you guys what we actually do with the inventory makeover process. So you can see the floor plan. Right. And by the way, if you guys need to go, we're pretty much done with this whole webinar. So I'm just going to cover a couple of the things here that are super critical when you think about your flow. So this is the I would say the bonus tip at the end. When you think about your supplies, or when you think about your space, think about what we call the journey of the box. When the box arrives from one of your suppliers, think about where the box is going to land. Obviously, it's going to go into your reception area, and then it's slowly going to make it into a room. Ideally, that's your main stock. Make sure that the box goes into the main stock and sits there until somebody comes in on your team, opens the box, checks the invoices, checks the totals, and then restock your main stock, right? So we always talk about it. Main stock, that's where the box is going to go. The next is designing where the weekly stock is going to go. Just like I said, you can have it in the treatment rooms, or you can have your weekly stock or the daily stock in the sterilization, just like we covered before how you can put the tip-up bins. Then the next step is, once we have all that figured out, we're going to look at the images that you sent, just like this one here. You guys already looked at it, and you have crossed out the cabinets at the top. The trays are going up. That's something that we designed specifically for each individual office, right? Let's check more. We're going to see the trays. We're going to organize how the supplies are listed here, how the dry area is going to work, the wet area. Then we're going to select specifically the tip-up bins, where they're going to go, right? How many of them do you need in each section? Then we're going to draw up, again, the cabinets that they need to go out. The gloves are going to be here, the pouches, where all that is going to go. And also think about it. The pouches, maybe you need to make a little custom thing here to put the pouches so it's easy for the team to reach. But all these cabinets, again, guys, doors. All right. So that brings me to the end. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it brought the value to you. And please put the comments in. And just like I said, we will send this document to you all as an email. And that's also going to be posted on our blog at zensupplies.com/blog, which I highly suggest you guys check it out. Okay. Thanks so much. Happy Friday. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you, guys.